This is Wake Up Nigeria, and we are back.
Bigger, better. Honestly, no, I just felt like I should say that. I don't know why. But really, we're going to be having so much on the show today. You need to stay close. Chatting with Dayo Akintobi, the author of Fela Today, a magazine published in honor of the legendary Afrobeat musician.
And then female rap artist Bimbo Taylor will thrill us with an exciting performance. You should look forward to that one.
Yes, sir.
And finally, movie actor and producer Rotimi Salami will be joining us for a chat later on.
Uncle, let me just tell me about yourself.
Hey, Oga Femi, you sure say you won't know my matter?
You get any matter where we say I go like reason for this level pass your matter?
Hey, Oga Femi. Femi, just free me. You go try free me. Now so you go to work, I don't even know where they go. Every time you go, they come late inside night.
They play La Liga for your head.
Wow, so far so good, yeah?
Yeah, it's looking looking nice. And
guess where I was yesterday? I want to make you a bit jealous.
I should guess where you were.
Where?
In your house.
What, really? So I was at the spa yesterday. Some well-needed me time. Had some serious body treatment things, you know. I was feeling very ladylike and womanly.
And you know, unfortunately for you, I really don't feel any.
You don't feel any jealousy? Really?
No.
Even though I had like honey and olive oil and
you know why? Because her husband has
everything.
Strong hands, so he's
Really?
able to
Yomi, how did you know?
Really?
If I need a body scrub, darling, I don't need to go to a spa.
Are you serious?
I already have a masseuse.
But I had some fun yesterday. Oh my goodness, like 3 hours of just, you know,
sometimes it's
and
good for the body.
Who was pampering you, by the way?
What's that?
Is that your
I thought you were telling us about how your day went.
The spa staff were.
Who is the spa staff, male or female?
They are female.
Are you sure?
All of them.
Confirmed,
All of them.
Your entertainment news actually got my attention. The DJ Copy and her boyfriend.
Okay.
Are you sure she didn't buy that car?
Yeah.
Why?
Something
Why
happened.
would you say that?
You know what? You know what? It happened. It was about the same thing happened with Toto.
Yeah.
So she's saying it because of there's reference. There's something to refer to.
Exactly.
So you know, but he's a rich guy. He's a footballer, and you know that footballers in this age, if you play in the Premiership, you are rich.
Yeah.
So whichever you are rich. So.
But is he as rich though? As rich?
Yes. I mean, come on.
I mean, he got her
as rich.
If you play in the Premier
If you play in the
League,
Premiership, come on, you're looking at an excess in excess of £50,000 every week.
yeah.
And then if you take out tax and everything, at least like 30 to 40 gets to you.
But
come
then
on.
she's still
I'm still asking
showed
to
him
ask
the door,
that question.
Eh?
Are you sure
You're
she
still
didn't
gonna
buy that
No,
car?
the car, come on, how much really
is
can
it?
it
I mean,
have?
really.
It's not a big deal. Really, for a Victor and Ichebe, come on, that's small. I mean, these guys really make good money.
Yeah.
You know, it's football and all of that. So, hey, whichever way.
Why is it that we always have to discuss love and money together? Like,
It's a normal thing now.
What is this money thing?
it's,
Why aren't we talking
because
about
money
the
feels
emotional
love.
connection
Money
between the two
feels
of them?
love.
Feels it. It's
Yeah.
like it's
Money
almost
feels
like
love.
so at the beginning it's nice and exciting.
Yeah.
And then
After a while, the butterflies.
yeah.
will
So
come
when
die.
it's like when it comes down to it, when it comes down to it, you need something to fuel that relationship.
Yeah, but guess what? When there's now too much money in the relationship, what do you fall back on? 'Cause
Exactly.
That seems like
that's what I was talking about.
bucket load of money.
I
we're
still
talking
think
about.
friendship is the most important. Once you're friends with someone, you love this person unconditionally. I mean, it gets because, I mean, after a while, it's like marriage. After a while, what keeps the marriage going is friendship.
Yeah.
Because that love, those butterflies in your tummy, ain't there anymore, darling. They're gone.
Okay.
But
God,
that friendship is
so-
not going to send Titi to the spa.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Because
well,
if a spa is doing
Yeah, but if your husband, your friend knows, and my wife's skin needs pampering, she
Yeah.
needs to rest. It's friendship. It's called. I mean, it's just natural. It just
That was some
All right,
very
so we're going
expensive friendship.
We're going straight to something that we have for our viewers. Titi.
Yes. And the reason why I went to the spa was to get set for this weekend, because I'm going to be at the Indomie Independence Day Awards. And the Independence Day Hero Awards is on Saturday. Yeah. So we have 3 of these invitations to give away to you right now. Get set, get your phones out. You stand a chance to win an invitation simply by answering these questions. Question 1, mention any 3 flavors of Indomie noodles. Very simple.
And then the second question, 3 flavors. And then the second question is, there are 3 sizes of Indomie noodles. Mention them. And you can tweet to us at TVC Connect. And of course, remember to use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria. And in addition, you can also use the hashtag IIDA. That's the awards there. IIDA, hashtag IIDA 2017. Yeah. Hashtag WakeUpNigeria. Yes. Send us those answers, and you might get a chance to win
one of these.
That ticket.
And you can take a selfie with me too. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Really?
I'm just saying.
See, if your skin is not glowing, like literally shining.
It is glowing. I'm feeling myself.
All right, it's the top of the hour now, and Blessing is on standby to bring us the news updates.
Hello again. Let's begin in the oil sector, as the former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Diezani Alison Madueke, will not be brought back to Nigeria for a trial. Speaking to Hausa Service correspondent after yesterday's cabinet meeting, the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, insisted that Alison Madueke is already facing charges of money laundering in the UK, and Nigeria will not jeopardize that investigation. The former minister had filed a suit seeking to be joined in a 500 million naira fraud charge involving her associates, and she wants the AGF compelled to bring her back to Nigeria from the UK, but there are insinuations that she wants to escape from a conviction overseas, since Nigerian courts have no impressive records of jailing high-profile suspects. Justice Rewan Aikawa of the Federal High Court in Lagos will, on October the 30th, hear Alison Madueke's application. Senator Issa Misal, representing Bauchi Central Senatorial District, has asked the Senate to probe the Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris over alleged corrupt practices and misconduct. Misal, while raising a point of order at the plenary earlier, reiterated his earlier allegations against Idris, including the IGP's recent alleged secret marriage to a serving policewoman against the public service rules. The lawmaker had recently alleged that the police was collecting about $328 million annually from corporate organizations and very important personalities for security services. Misal urged the Senate to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate his allegations against the IGP, saying he would provide documentary evidence. And the Senate is to investigate allegations raised in a leaked memo by Minister of State for Petroleum Ibe Kachuku against NNPC Group Managing Director Mekanti Barrow on insubordination against his office. This followed a motion alleging corruption in the state-owned oil company moved by Senator Samuel Anyanwu, which had an amended prayer on the issue by Senator Kabiru Marafa. Senator Aliyu Wamako is to head a 9-man ad hoc committee to probe the issue, but no time frame was set by Senate President Bukola Saraki. The Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, has earmarked 50 million naira scholarships to the less privileged and vulnerable children. The scholarship program, which is in 3 phases, will be awarded to 20 outstanding secondary school students in the Southwest region. And the initiative is designed to ensure that learning at all levels increase, thereby giving room for brilliant students to have free education to the university level. And that's the news. Now let's take a look at the day's weather forecast.
Hey
Well, Mike Messicano is on standby with a sports update.
Okay, thank you very much. And the ITO Cup semi-final second leg match between the Ifeanyuba FC and Niger Tornadoes, earlier scheduled to hold yesterday, will now hold today. The postponement was due to the late arrival of match officials. The match will now be played at 4 p.m. today in Newi. Niger Tornadoes have the brighter chance of qualifying for the final, having won the first leg 2-0. In the ladies category, Rivers Angels booked their place in the final after a comprehensive 4-0 win over Bayelsa Queens. Amarchi Ojima scored a brace, while Evelyn Nwabuku and Akpa Gladys both scored to give Rivers Angels a massive 6-2 aggregate win. Former captain of Stores and now a coach in England, Chuks Akuneto, is displeased over the plans of the Nigerian Football Federation NFF to stage the country's FA Cup final at the upgraded Agege Community Stadium in Lagos. The coach, who played in 2 Nigerian FA Cup semi-final matches for Stationary Stores against BCC Lions of Boko in 1989 and Shooting Stars in 1995 at the National Stadium, says it is not good for the country's football. It is now a full house in the camp as Chelsea winger Victor Moses joined up with the Super Eagles ahead of Nigeria's crunch clash with Zambia in the 2018 World Cup qualifier on Saturday. The Eagles had their second training session yesterday evening at the practicing pitch of Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. Nigeria need a win to qualify for the World Cup and end Zambia's hopes. Meanwhile, the Akwa Ibom state government has slashed the match tickets for the Nigeria-Zambia match by 50%. Sales of tickets have commenced, with the popular stands formerly going for 1,000 naira, now at 500 naira, while the covered stands at 2,000 naira formerly now go for 1,000 naira. And then Barcelona will try to sign Liverpool ace Felipe Coutinho again in the January transfer window, according to reports in Spain. The Catalan Giants pursued the Brazilian international throughout the summer but failed to strike a deal for the attacking midfielder, seeing 3 offers rebuffed by Liverpool. The Premier League club have repeatedly stated they are reluctant to sell their key man unless their demand of a whopping €200 million is met. But with the summer arrival of Ousmane Dembele ruled out for the next 4 months, Barca is said to be preparing a fresh move for the 25-year-old. And then still on Barcelona, defender Gerard Piqué insists he will not quit the Spanish national team despite being booed by his own supporters following unrest in his native Catalonia. The Barcelona defender has insisted it is impossible to doubt his commitment to a family that he has been a part of since he was a youth player. The Barcelona defender's overt support of Catalonia's independence referendum has caused quite a stir in the Spanish camp. Captain Sergio Ramos has been overly critical of Piqué's stance, which has led to claims the relationship between the central defensive partnership has completely broken down. But Piqué says he has no problems at all with Ramos. Spain are preparing to face Albania on Friday and Israel 4 days later to finish off their World Cup qualifying campaign. You know, talking about discontentment in a camp and all of that, you're looking at 2 central defenders. It's, you know, Catalonia, the referendum and all of that, and they are at loggerheads. I think it might affect their performances going forward.
It might. It definitely should.
Okay.
But he can't deny his people.
All right. That's it. And you have the papers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Mike.
Let's go.
Straight to the cover of the Vanguard newspaper. Kachiko versus Baru. Senate probes NNPC boss as federal government wades in to investigate NNPC's finances and activities. On the 30 trillion naira revenue scam, Senate to hand erring firms to EFCC. Also on pollution, NIMASA demands IOC's annual contingency plans. Also, it says here, CBN recovers 50 billion naira banks' excessive charges. You can read more about that on page 10, all of that on the cover of the Vanguard.
And then on the cover of the Punch, we've got the headline, Kachiku Baru feud. Presidency keeps mum. Senate to probe NNPC boss. Buhari must act fast. Probe allegations. SAN and other groups there. And then police arrest Lagos masqueraders for robbery. And then Noun graduates lose suit on law school admission. I'm working against Governor Obiano for poor performance, says Obi there. And then finally, Misau attacks IG again, accuses Idris of romancing female cops. All on the cover of The Punch.
And on this day, it says, Senate to probe Baru over $24 billion contract awards insubordination. It also says here, Presidential Council begins next phase of ease of business plan on page 49. Oil marketers to shut down depots over 800 billion naira unpaid subsidy claim as unions issue strike notice over looming job losses. And medical doctors, 10 others quarantined in Bayelsa over new viral disease called monkeypox. That's on page 49. All of that on this day.
On the three major stories on the cover of The Nation, we've got $25 billion. NNPC's probe likely as Buhari meets Kachiku. And then police chief under probe. And then finally, customs seizes trucks of fake drugs in Lagos. All on the cover of The Nation.
And that's it on the newspaper headlines.
And newspaper headlines are proudly supported by Dettol. Be 100% sure. Now we'll be right back with a book review after this. Welcome back. Now the story of the legendary Fela Anikulapo Kuti, popularly called Abamieda, cannot be overemphasized as we begin another season of the celebration. Now, author and publisher Adedayo Akintobi is here to tell us more about this incredible music icon with a new magazine coming out just in a few days.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us this morning, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, so I'm looking at this magazine from today's community newspapers, and it's like a commemorative edition of the celebration and 20 years of the icon, the African music icon, Fela himself, and it's called Memories, the Man, the Music, the Maverick. Now, how did this collaboration between your magazine and the celebration committee come about?
Well, what brought it about was the fact that this is the 20th anniversary of the passing away of the legendary Fela Anikulapo Kuti. And the celebration organizing committee had decided that this particular year, being a milestone year, celebration, which is the annual festival that commemorates the lifetimes and music of Fela, this particular year was going to be different in every ramification. It was going to be much bigger. They were going to invite a lot more international stars. They were going to have many more events to showcase his life, to mark the milestone. Normally, they usually produce a commemorative brochure that has a schedule of events, a little bit of history. But because this year is bigger and grander, a decision was made that that commemorative brochure wouldn't be enough. Let's go a step further and actually try to immortalize the man in a way that will open up the vistas of who he really was. We have a public perception about Fela. A lot of people think they know who Fela was, but there's so much more to the man that many people do not know. And we saw this as a golden opportunity to actually present Fela in a way that people have not seen before.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, when I looked through this this magazine here, it's over 70 pages of just different things. I mean, different stories, iconic photographs, and even behind the scenes with the children, you know, performances, playing table tennis at home, and just, you know, different aspects of Fela, like you were saying, that people might not actually know. But what I'm curious to know also is how you got all the contributors on this magazine, because some of them are like legendary writers. I'm talking about people who have seen Fela from the 70s, you know, attended conferences, and some of his performances and all of that. How did you get all these guys together to write something for you in this book?
It just took mentioning the name Fela, and you'd be amazed at the degree of loyalty that the people who are close to him have for him, the amount of love, and also the fact that there's so much history between him. He was a very involved, passionate person. And everybody who interacted with him or had cause to be involved with him at any level, be it professionally, musically, socially, he was passionate about people. Yeah. As a result, once we put the word out that we wanted contributors to come and tell us an insider's view, not what's out in the public, in the media already, but their own interpersonal experiences with Fela, we got a deluge. We actually had to reject. we had more. We had more. If we took everybody's, this thing would be 500 pages.
Because I
long.
mean, I remember. I mean, the legendary Benson Idonije, for instance.
Yes.
I mean, I was a young writer in this day, some 15 years ago, and I used to follow his articles in the Guardian, and of course, he had a special connection with Fela, and of course, I expected that I would see something from him there, and there is something.
You were not disappointed.
I wasn't.
No.
You know, amazing. So it's. I mean, talking about some of the other contributions, there are some people who have also like an international connection with him. I'm talking about Brazil and Europeans and all of that, and they also have like an influence in this book. Can you talk a little bit about that as well?
Yes. Well, Fela, apart from being an international man, he was also intergenerational. And what you'll find inside the magazine is that the contributors run the entire spectrum from 20-something-year-olds to 70-something-year-olds. Yeah. They run the spectrum from Nigerians, Ghanaians, Chileans, Brazilians, all across the world. And that just speaks to the fact that Fela was an international icon. And as I said, once we put the word out that we wanted people who had intimate insider knowledge, who could speak to who Fela was behind the scenes, not the public persona. And what we now discovered, which was a surprise to us as well, was that even internationally, there were people he had interacted with from his days in the 60s in Los Angeles, to his time in Berlin, to his time in Ghana. Everywhere he went, he touched people's lives in an unforgettable way.
There's something I want to ask. I mean, when I read, there's a short submission by Yeni Kuti in the book, and then she was saying, Africa, let's make Fela proud. When you look at his music and the wide-ranging influence on the Afrobeat genre, are we making him proud? You know, all these guys that are here now, you know, performing on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, are we making Fela proud? What do you think?
Fela had this undying belief in the black race. He felt that we were not scratching the surface of our potential and that there was so much more to being black. And he was an advocate, a very strong advocate of Afrocentrism, which postulates that as a black man, as a Negro, you have a massive contribution to make to the entire human race, because there's the belief that civilization emanated from the black race. And what we discovered with Fela is that the things he was singing about 30, 40 years ago, because he was, above all else, he was a social commentator. And everything, his lyrics, his popular yabis, all of those were geared towards addressing the human condition, addressing the black man's condition. And before this show came on, I was listening to some of your headlines. And one of the things that caught my attention today was 24 billion naira misplaced in oil money dollars, from NNPC, dollars. Yes. 30 years ago, Fela released a song about oil money missing. So not only was he a prophet or a messenger, but he saw the shortcomings of the black race. He saw the shortcomings of our social, political, economic system. And he tried to advocate for change. Are we making him proud? I think we've got quite a ways to go.
We're doing our best.
I think we're working at it, and I think the future is bright, but I don't think we're quite near where Fela would have liked us to be as a black race. All right,
so we have Dayo Akintobi here, the publisher of Today Community Newspapers, who is having a commemorative edition of the magazine with Fela on the cover. The man, the music, the maverick. beautiful. I mean, over 74 pages of just amazing stuff, iconic pictures and articles, submissions. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
We hope to hear from you again.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so earlier on the show, we mentioned that we'll be having some music. Well, now is the time to bring you that music. Is Bimbo, who's on standby with MM.